Namaste, welcome. So, last time we explored the ways to manipulate your exhale for breathing techniques, and today we're going to keep building on our power of conscious control over breath in order to add the manipulation of the inhale as well. So, to start with, let's remember the shining skull breath. Sit in any comfortable position, or you can stand if you'd like. The only thing that matters is that you have enough belly available to you for breathing, because it needs to move freely. So, we are going to be taking in the regular inhales and exhaling forcefully through our nose at the same time, engaging the muscles of our belly in the way that mimics their natural engagement. Let's take a breath in. Feel our belly blow up on the inhale, exhale, and you would see that your belly deflates and comes down. We're going to exaggerate this going down, deflating motion by almost sucking our stomach in on the exhale. In and out. In and out. Let's keep breathing like that using our shiny skull breath. Notice that your inhales happen almost automatically. And once you get into the rhythm of the forceful exhale, we are going to start manipulating our inhale as well. We're going to start inhaling as forcefully as we're exhaling through our nose, and our belly is going to be exaggerating the natural motion that it already does when we do breathe in regularly, meaning it's going to blow up forcefully and equally as forcefully come down on the exhale. In, blow it up, out. You probably noticed that it's relatively difficult to keep the focus of your attention both on the force of your inhale and exhale and on the motion of your belly, which is why we did not start with this one. So, if you want to practice, just focus on one thing at a moment. So, you do want to maintain the forceful inhales, forceful exhales. And once you get into the groove of that, you can start experimenting with adding the belly motion. Blow it up on the inhale and deflate it on the exhale. Keep going at it, and you would probably notice that your rate of breath increases. That's a good thing. That's sort of what we're aiming at. But for now, take a break. Take a couple of regular normal breaths. Because remember, when we're doing pranayamas, we're not only manipulating the breath, we're also manipulating the oxygen slash carbon dioxide ratio in our brains. And you want to tread lightly here just because you don't want to overdo anything. Let's go back to breathing forcefully through our nose, in and out. Don't worry if the corresponding motion of your belly is not quite there yet. It's gonna come with practice. Just try to keep your back relatively erect and your belly available to you. So let's go back to this kind of breath. It's called bellows breath or bhastrika. Don't bother yourself with the terms. Just keep at it. If you ever start feeling dizzy, just stop, take a couple of regular breaths, or keep going at it. As you're breathing like this, notice the area of your belly button and notice the forceful motion with which this area is moving. It's a rocking motion, it's actually very soothing. So, breathing like this, take a break if you need to, and then go back to bellows breath. Breathing like this, just pay attention to that area in your body. Take a break and let's keep exploring. Because it's as if your whole body is breathing. At least more areas of your body are involved into the act of breathing. There is no reason why we cannot use this breath to assist some of our yoga asanas. And for that, the easiest thing you can try and do, you can put your hands on your shoulders, however is easier, and we are going to start rotational motions. Go side to side. Your head goes in the direction where your body goes. And once you get into the groove of this motion, you can add the bellows breath to this. It's going to look like this. If you're getting dizzy, just stop breathing like this. Keep going with that motion. And you can add bellows breath to generally every single Kundalini asana that has the rotational element to it, because you are turning right to left and it sort of naturally matches in pace with the breath. I'm gonna start slowing down here. I never want to stop any Kundalini yoga rotation abruptly. I just want to come to a complete stop in the center eventually by making my motions smaller. And once I'm here in the center, I'm going to take a breath. If I feel super energized, and this is an energizing exercise, I will remind myself I can take a calming breath through my pursed lips, in through the nose, out through the pursed lips, in through the nose, out through the pursed lips. Or I can even take several rounds of the lion breath here. The traditional posture has you on all fours. So I'm going to put my hands on my knees And I'm going to inhale through my nose, exhale through my mouth wide open, sticking out my tongue. This one is fun to do with kids. You can have them roar. This is a releasing breath, a breath that assists you in letting go because you're relaxing your lower jaw as you exhale like that, and that's why the tension that you carry in your neck and in your jaw is somewhat released. So that's super helpful. Anyways, now we are going to build on bellows breath and do a couple more things with the bellows breath. So, what I want you to do, I want you to put your hands onto your hip bones and press on them from above. Just spend a moment finding your hip bones, press on them from above, and let's make sure that our elbows are pointing sideways here. And we're gonna come back to doing bellows breath or bhastrika. I probably go too fast. You don't need to go as fast. Just focus on the inhale and exhale, on their force. And I'm gonna go back to doing that in just a moment. But before I do so, I want you to notice that it's slightly more challenging to do bhastrika when your elbows are pointing sideways and your hands are pressing on your hip bones from above. And that is because you have a very different structure of your core when your arms are like this, and you are sort of overcoming that change in the regular structure of your core. So let's keep doing that for another 10 seconds. And we're going to take a normal breath in, fully exhale. And we're going to complicate our objective here even further. We're going to make a chicken pose, your hands under your armpits, elbows again pointing sideways. And because you have to keep your arms that high, uh, the force that your diaphragm needs to uh, produce in order to do the bellows breath is increased. Take a break and just notice the sensations in your body. Notice that on some level it's easier to move your belly, on another level it's different. The movement is slightly different. Just notice this for now. And we're going to do another round of bellows breath, another 10 seconds. And let it go. A normal breath. Relax. Do a round of calming breath if you need to here. In through your nose, out through your pursed lips. And now we're going to lift our arms up And by lifting our arms up, we're creating another challenge for our diaphragm, as you would see in a moment. Let's go to doing the bellows breath. Notice though, I'm gonna lower my arms so it's easier for me to talk, but you can take a break and do another round. Notice that your belly is able to move in a more free manner when your arms are up and your elbows are not sticking out sideways. And that's actually a great thing because you can turn this into one of the Kundalini yoga exercises. I'm just gonna sit like this and I'm gonna start lifting my arms up and putting them down. Huge swaying motions. And I'm gonna accompany this with my bellows breath. If you're just starting, just do 10 rounds and be done with this because I personally think it's better than coffee. What this does, it sort of amplifies the exchange of oxygen and carbon monoxide in your blood so that your brain feels rejuvenated. So if you ever need to perk up, just do this for 10 seconds and see how you feel. So there are a lot of ways in which you can use the bellows breath, but this is one of the energizing pranayamas. And as an energizing pranayama, you want to be cautious with it uh, so that you don't fly to the moon, so to say. Uh, for starters, do 10 rounds, work your way up to 30 seconds, then probably a minute. And no matter how long or how well you're doing it, it's gonna have the effect that it's intended to do. Rejuvenating, energizing effect. So here's one way for you to perk up. All right. Because we are manipulating our inhale today, after all of that energizing work, we would probably need a way to cool down. And there is a cooling down breath in yoga, which is also reliant on what we do with the inhale. So we're going to open our mouth slightly. Opening our mouth, we're going to try and curve our tongue so that it takes the shape of a spoon over our lower jaw. It's okay if your tongue does not curl, just try to keep it relatively low. And once your tongue is in a position that you find comfortable, please don't strain your tongue for this. What we're going to do, we're going to take a breath in through our mouth, like this. And exhale through your nose, closing your mouth. I invite you to close your eyes for a second here. And focus your attention on the sensation of a cool air rushing in through your mouth and into your throat, into your lungs. On the inhale, and on the exhale, focus your attention on the sensation of the warm air leaving your nostrils. You don't have to close your eyes, it just helps to have your eyes closed. when you're trying to maintain the focus on the inner state of your body. So let's keep breathing like this. Don't try to manipulate the rhythm of your breath in any way. Just breathe however fast or however slow you're naturally breathing right now. One last one. And we're going to take a break. Breathe regularly for a moment there and reflect on what just happened. This is a cooling breath because it doesn't actually cool you. What it does is it automatically attracts your body's attention to the fact that there is coolness available to it in the form of the outside air. So if you're feeling very hot, it's not going to make you physically cooler. What it's going to make you, it's going to make you more attentive to the fact that there is some cold or cool available to you right now. And your mind is a very powerful thing. You are going to start believing that you are actually feeling cooler, even though, well, it does not actually affect the temperature objectively. Anyways, so that is your cooling breath. I believe the Sanskrit term is Sikali Pranayama, but again, we don't need to bother with that. Now, if there is a cooling breath, there should be a warming breath, and we are going to try this. Now, for this, it's very easy to overdo. So, if you're standing right now, please sit down in any kind of meditative posture that has enough belly available to you because we're going to do the breath of fire. Now, the breath of fire is very basically a controlled hyperventilation, so you do want to proceed very gently here. For starters, we are just going to do a very short round so that you can get a feel of what that would be. Kundalini yoga masters do that for minutes and they don't hyperventilate. So there is always room to master skills, but we do not want to overdo it today. So, breath of fire is very basically the bellows breath that is super fast, does not really involve any conscious manipulation of your belly. You'll see that something's going to happen in your belly, and that something's going to be super delicious, but just bear with me. For now, the actual technique is to imagine that you are a dog on a hot day and you are panting. The point is that you have to pant not with your tongue stuck out and your mouth open, but with your mouth closed. Let's try and do that. Take a normal breath in and try to pant through your nose. I'm going to stop here, as should you, and let's reflect on what happened. Your breath almost did not have a chance to get into the bottom portion of your lungs. And that's for a good reason, which we are going to explore in a second. Let's do another very short round, your mouth closed, and just keep panting through your nose. Let's reflect on this round as well. You would probably notice that your breath just stayed here around your nasal cavity. At least that's where most of the sensation, most of the motion was. Let's do another round. And I want you to pay attention now, not to what's going on with your nose. I want you to pay attention to what's going on with your diaphragm. So keep your belly relaxed. Your diaphragm does the breathing for you, as you remember. We are trying to pay attention to the area in your body where your rib cage is separated from your abdominal cavity. So here-ish. Anyways, let's do another round. Pay attention to that area of our body. Normal breath in, relax, and start panting like a dog on a hot day with your mouth closed. And I'm sure you're noticing this right now. Your diaphragm is making a pulsing movement up and down, up and down, up and down. And as it does, your belly is slightly inflating, slightly deflating. So your belly is involved. You don't want to consciously do something with your belly, just like we discussed earlier. Um, you want to have it not getting in your way in a way. So let's do another round and focus on the sensations in your diaphragm as you're panting like a dog. In, out, and start panting. Let's take a break here. And now that we're done with this round and our diaphragm stopped moving, what I want you to pay attention, close your eyes if you need to close your eyes to see that. I want you to pay attention to a certain sensation of emptiness in your stomach because our diaphragm was working in overdrive right now. It was not making huge motions, but it was making a lot of rapid motions. Now, after the muscles have stopped working, there is this sensation that is familiar to anyone who is doing any kind of fitness of relief, release when you're finally stopped moving. And this is what we're noticing right now. This good feeling in your belly, in your upper abdomen. Nice feeling of peace, of rest. Just enjoy this feeling for a second as it dissipates, as all feelings do. And let's see what we can do with the breath of fire. With the breath of fire, you can use that to amplify the workout you're getting out of any Kundalini yoga pose. Whether that be a static pose, try to do that in Cobra. That would be something to remember. Or a dynamic pose. If, for example, you're doing a stomach grind, which is a huge circles like this, try to add breath of fire to that and see what happens. I'm going to start now. And I'm gonna stop doing breath of fire. But if you were doing that with me, you probably noticed that adding a pranayama technique to the actual asana or the exercise that you're doing does what yoga is supposed to do. Chitta vritti nirodha, right? The cessation of notifications of the mind. You probably noticed that you cannot do anything else but that. Just this at this moment, your motion, your breath, your body. That's what's present. And that's why those techniques exist, actually, I think, because they switch your brain from its constant rumination, from its constant experiencing and scheming and plotting and what have you, and into this mode of presence. Because when you're breathing with a breath of fire, you probably noticed already there is no room in your mind for anything else but the present moment. And that's why this is helpful. It gives you a break from the habitual states of your mind, right? Anyways, we're going to stop here today. To recap, we tried to manipulate the force and the duration of our inhale today. And there are tons more things that I hope to be able to explore with you. So, until next time, keep breathing with me, without me, just keep breathing. Namaste.